Hello, good evening, everyone. Please, if you can hear me, just drop a comment in the comment section if you can hear me. All right, thank you very much. Um, you're all welcome to today's session. My name is Queeneth Henshaw, and I am your moderator. Very pleased to see. So I'll just like to start by first of all welcoming you all to this meeting. I can see Patience, Bemika, Lucky, Isaac, a lot of people joining in from all around. So I just want to say you're welcome. We're here today for the first day of the training, the Farm Food Safety Compliance Virtual Training, and that is organized in commemoration of the 2025 World Food Safety Day. And we have like a power pack session ready for you. So I'd just like to, first of all, welcome you and, get you ready for today's session. So it's a class like you all know. So I'd like for all of us to get ready, pay attention, get all your writing materials ready, get your questions ready, pay attention to all that will be taught today, right? Okay, yes. Can you hear me? All right. Set volume. Someone is saying volume. Okay, so please just pay attention to all that will be taught today. This is the first class. And then if you have any questions, just drop it in the chat box, or you wait for the question and answer section where you can lift your hands and ask the questions. So as we delve right into it, I'd like to invite the community manager to just take us through the training guidelines, all that you need to know regarding the training for today. So I'd like to call on the community manager, Mr. Suleiman. Please, can we just put our hands together for him as he comes up to take that session? He will be telling us about, all that we need to know for the training.
All right. Thank you, moderator. Good evening, everyone. Suleiman is actually in the back end. He's the community manager, and he's responding to students that are trying to join up for the class. And I want to appreciate everyone that has come up on time, that has come up to ensure that they are available in this class. I would want to encourage you all to put off your videos so that you can conserve your network and your data so that you can hear very well. So put off your videos, and we can have a very smooth time here. Okay, so before we bring in our facilitator for today, we just want to re-echo some of the training guidelines that we had mentioned yesterday. We had spoken at the onboarding, and it's not everybody that joined the onboarding. Yes, somebody's already asking, I have not gotten my code. Yes, before the attendance is dropped today, the code, the list for code will be dropped, and you will be able to get your code. It will be dropped here in the group, on the WhatsApp group. Just like when the attendance is dropped, you'll be able to get your code to be able to tick your attendance. Please, I will repeat, code is not being received. Nobody is sending code to anybody. There will be one document that will be dropped in the WhatsApp group, and you open that document and search for your code. The names are arranged in alphabetical order. You will see that. So it is important. The attendance sheet will be dropped for only 10 to 20 minutes, and you are supposed to fill your attendance within that time. At any particular time, it is dropped. After that, anybody that does not fill the attendance within that time is considered not to have attended the class. So it's important, and this is going to be an 8 weeks virtual training. That is 16 classes. Today is class 1. So class 1 of 16 is today, and we're going to be having a whole lot of very, very fascinating training. We had also mentioned here that the training is very, very free you get the knowledge, you practice the knowledge, and you become you become a food safety practitioner. You improve the knowledge in the quality of produce that you do in your farm. And you also are able to get quality, you're also able to get quality supply contracts based on the quality of products that you have created for your from your farm. Now, to get at the end of this training, after getting all the knowledge, and then you are part of the network, you're part of the team that is the network that will be set up for people that want to go ahead and be exporters, go ahead and supply to companies, begin to produce in their farm to supply for companies. There is that optional point of getting a certificate. If you would like to get certificate of training, and this certificate of training is not the regular certificate of participation that we'll just tear and give to you. No, you will be getting a recognized and accredited certificate of training for farm food safety compliance. This certificate of training is something you can use to apply for a food safety officer role. This certificate of training is something you can use to apply for a contract job, to get a supply job in companies, in big outlets like ShopRite, like all these big outlets that have standards before they accept goods, flour mills and the likes. So the certificate you're getting are certificates that you can also use in your application for safety certificates. You also use it as an evidence of the fact that you have been trained in safety standards. So this certificate goes for a very token subsidized rate of just 5,000 naira. If you're able to get this, if you're able to pay for it between now and the ending of this training, which is on the 27th of June, you pay just 5,000 naira for the certificate. After that, the certificate goes back to its normal price. Other than that, you're free to partake in the class, get the knowledge, and be a beneficiary of the knowledge. Like I've met, people are still asking in the group, attendance. Attendance will be dropped. You will not know when it will be dropped. Once it is dropped, we will announce it in the group that a link for attendance has been dropped. You go there and fill it. It will just be 3-4 questions. You fill your name, fill your assigned code, and then fill the course, something like that, and then you're good for the day. But you just have to be part of the class and watch out for when attendance is filled, because you will not know when exactly the attendance is being dropped, and it will be open for just 10 to 20 minutes at best. So I want to welcome you all and wish you a very enjoyable time. Yes, apart from paying the 5,000 naira, the subsidized fee for the certificate, you have to attend minimum of 50% of the classes. So this class is going to be 16 classes. That means you have to attend at least 8 of the classes to be eligible for certificates. If you're not able to attend 8 of the classes, these classes are recorded. So we will have the recordings available, but those ones will not be free. You have to buy the recordings to make up for the classes that you have not. But I encourage you, don't just target to attend only 8 classes. Attend all the classes so that you can get the knowledge. And tomorrow, if you get a job, if you get a contract, whatever you are using the certificate for, you can actually defend it. The knowledge is very important for you to use. So we will be getting set. We'll be getting set to start our class. You will give me a few minutes. I'll hand over back to the moderator. Those are the guidelines. After the session, we will have another announcement session. But I'll hand over to the moderator to take maybe 1 or 2 questions around the guidelines while we contact our facilitator to join up. So, Madam Moderator, please take up the class, take 1 or 2 questions if they have, and then we will hand over to the facilitator once I notify you that the facilitator is on the call. Thank you so much, moderator.
Thank you so much, Mr. Daniel, for the information you just passed across. So if you have any questions, please do well to leave them in the chat box, or if you have to ask them, you could just lift up your hand so that we can call you up to ask your questions. If there's anything that you need help with, if you did not get the information right, please just drop it in the chat box. Okay, so Queen is asking if we're getting a new code for those who had one yesterday. And then we also have another question. Mr. Daniel, are you with
Yeah, I'm
me?
here. Yeah, I'm here. I'm
Okay.
here.
I can just read out some of the questions and you just take them as they go.
Meanwhile, please check your WhatsApp.
Okay. 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 All right. So we have Mr. Black, we have a question from Queen. Are we getting a new code for those who had one yesterday? Uma is asking if after the
So
certificate,
she just gave me
what
feedback now
about?
that since I told her it was you, she said she can but that
Okay. Oh, Queenet, you hand over to me.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, no, so the code is going to be the same. It's just that there will be a little difference in the format, but your serial code is going to actually be the same. So what was the second question?
There's a question here from Abraham Isaac. He's asking if the code will be sent to the group before the attendance link.
Yes, we are working to ensure that the code is dropped in the group before we get the attendance, before the attendance comes, because one of the key things you have to put in the attendance is your assigned code. So yes, it has to be dropped in the group before then. Sorry, okay, yes.
Okay, so most of the questions are centered around codes, and I think you've answered that. But Raymond is asking how many hours this session is meant to last for. This meeting is meant to last for.
Yes, every session will last for 1 hour 30 minutes from 4 to 4:30. That is inclusive of question and answer and every other thing. So by 5:30, we are done from this class.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Black. We don't have any other questions for now.
Okay, so I'm trying to reach Dr. Ofonime, our facilitator for today. I don't know what the situation of the weather or the network is over there where he is. So you just give me a few minutes and then we'll get started.
Okay, so for everyone asking about the codes, the question about the codes have been answered, right? The code will be sent today. So you just have to participate in the class to know when, that happens, and then you just go ahead to take your attendance. The questions about the code has been answered.
Okay, so yeah, I just spoke with our facilitator. He says he's still trying to join. Hope he's able to join shortly. He's having error from his ends. Okay, yes. So while we are waiting for the facilitator, he's still trying to join. Okay, the code, the document for the codes have been dropped in the group. You can go and check it. It's arranged in alphabetical order. You check for your name. Attendance will be dropped anytime from now. As soon as the facilitator starts, as soon as we're able to get the facilitator on board, we will. The code has been dropped in your group. Just go and download it. Look for your name and pick your code. I hope we have all gotten that. The code, the document has been dropped in the group. Download it, open and check for.
So for everyone just joining in now,
I'm happy to announce that our facilitator is in the class. So, Queen, please, you can just I've also, Doctor, I've assigned you as a co-host, so you can mute and unmute yourself. But I'll hand over to the moderator to properly introduce you, introduce your topic, and then hand over to you to.
all right, thank you very much, Mr. Black. Right about now, he will be taking the topic understanding food safety in agriculture. So this with a round of applause, can we welcome Dr. Ofonime Akata to take his session?
Doctor, you have the floor now. I have unmuted you, Doctor.
Okay. So can we start?
Yes, Doctor, we can start.
The moderator is great. Okay. I was thinking
Moderator, please share the
the moderator is
slides.
going to kickstart from there and take over. Okay. Good afternoon, all. I'm here on the topic understanding farm food safety in agriculture.
Doctor, sorry. Doctor, please excuse.
My discussion. Okay.
Sorry, Doctor, would it be comfortable for you to on your video?
If you okay. Where?
At least just so that your students can see
Let
you.
me check before. Okay, okay. Where do I? Okay.
Yes.
Somewhere. Yeah. Okay. Is that okay?
Yes, very okay, Doctor. You can go ahead,
Can
Doctor.
I proceed? Okay. As I said today, I'm here to speak on the topic understanding farm food safety in agriculture. You are all welcome to this platform to where we can learn one or two things. I believe that this is the first day of this program, and what I have to do is more or less an introductory part of it. But before I start, I want us to know some basic concepts we should know so as to know so that we'll be able to understand the other things that I will be. And said that a farm is a piece of land used for growing crops or raising animal for food. This has to do with either fiber or other products that the farmer managed to produce from the farm, such like vegetable, grains, fruits, and milk, and even eggs, depending on. And this farm that we are talking about has to do with sizes. It ranges from the small sizes to the backyard plot and to a large or commercial size, whereby you can plant. Where I stay in Akwa Ibom State, the governor made mention of home garden, whereby everybody should, where you are living, you should have a little where you plant either vegetable or anything of your choice, and he tried to encourage those who can do that. Thereafter that, I also want us to then talk about what is food. What do we understand by food if we are asked? To me, I would say that food is any substance that people or animal eat or drink to maintain life and growth. If you look at this, you can see, go to the second one. Go to the second slide. You can share the second one. That is the topic, understanding the, I have said something about what is a farm, where I told you that it is a piece of land used for growing. So now, I'm talking about, let us be there. I'm now speaking on the word food, F-O-O-D, F-O-O-D. What does it mean? I said that it is any substance that people or animal eat or drink to maintain life and growth. You know, when once any
Doctor, are you still speaking? We cannot hear you. Is it just me? Queenette, can you hear him?
No, no, I can't hear him. I think he has gone off.
Hello, can you hear me?
Okay, yes, we can hear you now. We can hear you, Dr. Mark.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you
Okay,
now.
okay. So as I said, I was still on the process of explaining what food is all about. And I said that it is any substance that people or animal eat or drink to maintain life and growth. And I went further to say that the food that we are talking about must be able to contain the essential nutrients, such as carbohydrate, protein, fat, vitamins, and minerals that the body needs to function effectively. So what I was saying is that in any form in which this thing is given to any living thing, be it human, animal, or plant, it must contain the essential elements or nutrients to make them function well. And I said that food can come from plant sources like fruits, vegetable, grains, and nuts. And animal sources of food can be meat, it can be milk, it can be egg. These are those things when you take, for instance, this afternoon, if you happen to have maybe to eat pineapple, pawpaw, that is food, because at the end, it will give you energy. Now, what is safety, in the other hand? The next slide, so that I can be able, the network is not friendly. What is safety? The word safety has to do with the condition of being protected from harm. There to prevent accidents, injuries, or negative outcome in various environments. Now, when we talk about safety, even the way you walk on the road, the way you conduct yourself when you want to cross road, you look at the right, the left, the right, and before you cross, making sure that as you are crossing, there is no vehicle or no bicycle or motorcycle that knocks you down is what we refer to as safety. So with this mentioning of three words, farm, food, and safety, I will now be able to then speak on the way we should understand what farm food safety means in agriculture. That was the essence of giving you those definitions. Now the next slide says, what then is food safety in agriculture? Since we know what food is, that it has to do, farm that has to do with a piece of land where you grow crops, and food is any substance that you eat or you drink to have energy or to grow. And we know safety is a situation that you safeguard anything that hurts you or injure you. Then what then do we expect in food safety in agriculture? I said that food safety in agriculture is the practice and condition that ensure food produced on farm is safe to eat and free from harmful contaminants. Remember, I have made mention of what a farm is and what food is and what safety is. Therefore, when we are talking about farm food safety in agriculture, we are referring to a situation whereby we make sure that what we produce from the farm is safe for us to eat, devoid of contaminants, devoid of anything that when you eat it, it will cause problem or it will cause sickness or it will lead to one problem or this. I really, I've, it's not of my making, but it's like it's from the network. While we are talking, sometimes the network will simply, I will realize that my system will go off from the internet. So as I said, what are those things that we should take precaution? What are those things that can lead to food not being safe in agriculture? One is pesticide residues. And I was saying pesticide has to do with those chemicals that we apply in the farm in order to kill insects that disturb or destroy our crops. When once we have this pesticide, the application, when once we have this pesticide and we apply them to control insects in the farm, after the application, it will kill the insect that we have applied for. But there is a tendency that the leftover, what we call the residual, what will be left, can cause a problem in the farm. And how can this happen? When you use unapproved chemicals wrongly, it can lead to harmful levels on the crops. But when you use it in a way and manner, if they ask you to apply 2 meals, that is 2 meals in 10 liters of water, mix it and then to spray. And you said, no, this thing is too much in my farm. I feel it will not be able to take care of it. Let me put 10 meals in the same 10 liters. Of water. It will happen. I realize that we are all farmers. Is that there was a time in Nigeria for us to preserve our grains, example beans. For you to preserve it after harvesting, you put it in a silos or in a warehouse So the owners of the beans, while they were to preserve their beans so that insects will not go to consume, they put a pesticide in it. And this pesticide, before you can consume that beans, must stay for 6 months. People who wants to make fast money unknowingly went and stole that beans and sold it to the people in the market, and eat, had diarrhea, running stomach everywhere. And they started accusing the people that they poisoned beans to sell to them, whereas that wasn't the ideal thing. The situation was that those beans were preserved, and during the preservation, they put this pesticide in order to control the insects that normally destroy, the people that normally destroy beans in the storage. And unknowingly, these people went and stole it and sell it. So you now realize that they use the chemical in the right way, but the consumers or those who stole it and sold it to the buyers, thereby causing problem in the system. Another way we can talk about safety in agriculture is biological hazard. Preventing contamination from bacterial, viruses, or parasites can be spread through soil. Now, what do we mean? Pathogens are disease-causing organisms. For you to have malaria, there must be a pathogen, a bacterial in you that leads to that, make you to suffer from that malaria. Now, when we talk about this biological hazard, we must be careful that what we do in the farm, what we have in the farm, like the water that we have, the animal, or even the workers that goes to the farm to work. For instance, the livestock. You notice that when you get to the farm, they will have the foot mat. And they have disinfectants that they will all ask you to dip your feet, put your feet inside that place before your feet enter the pen. Sometimes give you overall to wear. Why they are giving you the overall to wear is to make sure that as you are entering the pen, whatever pathogens that you came with will not have access to drop it into the pen, but rather remains in you, so that when you go on your shoe or your footwear, as you dip it, impotent, so that they will not be active in order to spread in the room. So we must prevent this so that we do not have the spread of these pathogens in the farm. Another one is another thing that we look into it that can lead to farm food safety in agriculture is chemical contaminants. We avoid pollution from heavy metals, fertilizers, or industrial waste. It is a law in the country that if someone is a farmer, and let's use piggery, you are a piggery farmer, you know, it has a very offensive odor. But there is a way you can maintain proper hygienic condition, whereby your next neighbor will not notice that. And by the time you keep to those hygienic conditions, there will not be these chemical contaminants, either from what you use in feeding the pigs or what you use in disinfecting the environment. Because at the end of the day, the way you process it, okay, let us use water leaf. I don't know how many of us are familiar with water leaf. Water leaf that we use in cooking. Now you realize that when you get to the farm to harvest water leaf, because of the way they are being planted, their planting distances are very close and they stay together. It is obvious that when they harvest it, the tendency of harvesting with other things that are not, other leaves that are not water leaf is there. And supposing when you want to process it, you do not select it out, there is a tendency of you bringing into existence or into your soup a leaf that may bring another bad taste. It may be bitter. Let's assume you have bitter leaf on it and you pluck it alongside with the water leaf. Your intention wasn't for the bitter leaf. And because it was bitter leaf, you see, it will introduce a bitter taste into it. Now, there is another thing we call good agricultural practices, following standards that include proper sanitation, clean water use, safe harvesting, and responsible handling. As I said, so you see, during the harvesting, you must take note that you do not allow waste, what you don't need, to fall into it, so that you do, in terms of a cowpea, during threshing, you see, they will select those chaff away. Because if they are added into it, I want to cite an example now to all of us, good agricultural practices. I do not know how many of you are familiar with fruited pumpkin. Oh, Bible. I don't know how the Yoruba call it. Fruited pumpkin. Fruited pumpkin is a vegetable that we all eat, especially in the southern part of the country, Nigeria. But now that same fruited pumpkin, if you happens to eat the root of that fruited pumpkin, it is poisonous. It can lead to death, if not death. Depending on the concentration that you consume or you eat, it can lead to death. Why? But the same leaf, the same agu, the vines here outside on the field, in the farm, you harvest them, pluck it, and then cut it and use it in preparing a very popular cuisine. Very delicious. But that same thing, because the hormones that help in the growth has more concentration on the roots, which is bitter. That is why after a certain age, about 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, they allow it to flower so that it can be a pot and they use it so that the pot can also be something that you can now eat it or keep it for maturity and you can replant it. So good agricultural practices, following standard of proper sanitation, clean water use, safe harvesting and responsible handling will make us have a good farm food safety in agriculture. Even in a situation nowadays, a lot of us are having screen house. We produce our vegetable from the screen house, the house that is being built, and it is a controlled environment. Under that screen house, the amount of water that goes in there is through irrigation. And under this irrigation, it is regulated. So you will not allow dirty water to be used in irrigating your plants. If you do that, you will not have a safe and good food in agriculture, but rather you have a good water in order to use and then to irrigate your crops. Another one that we quickly, the next slide is a water safety. As I said, water safety. Water safety has to do for irrigation, washing produce, or pesticide application, as I said initially. It is not because you want to apply herbicide or out, you're not allowed your water to be dirty. You don't do that. You use good water to do your irrigation or your supply. Okay, you have finished harvesting. You want to wash your leaves. You don't use dirty water to wash it, or your cucumber to take to the market, or your tomato. You use good source of water, because if you have dirty water to wash them, it will now contaminate the produce, thereby making it unsafe for people consumption. So you use good source of water. Then we talk about animals management. That is controlling access of domestic and wild animals to crop fields. Helps to reduce contamination risk from physics. You see, when you allow animals to get into your field, they will defecate. And when they defecate, sometimes their physics can be contaminated and thereby affecting your farm produce. So what you do is that mostly some people fence their farm, maybe with bamboo or with anything that they can use, so as to show that animals should not be allowed into that place. Knowing quite well, when you allow animals into your farm, the tendency of them even feeding on your crops are there. So you protect them from entering there and thereby making sure that at the end of the day, you will have food or crops that are very safe for human consumption. Then we go into another aspect of it, workers training and hygiene. The next slide, what workers training and hygiene. Now, for you to achieve all these, except otherwise you are a one-man business, only you that goes to the farm, only you that takes care of the farm, does everything in the farm, that you may not have workers. But even if your workers are family labor, you need to train them, educate them on personal hygiene, self-handling of practices, and thereby reporting any illness. There are certain diseases that we call zoonotic diseases. Zoonotic diseases are those diseases that can be transmitted from animal to human and from human to animal. So you train them on good hygiene, not a situation, oh, because they are farmers, they should not take their bath for 2-3 days. No, it will also affect your produce. So you train them on good hygienic practices so that because it is them, the workers that will now handle those produce, so that when they handle it, they can package it well. There was a situation I saw someone washing his oranges in, in the tar road in the city. You have these gutters along the roads. And normally those gutters, when 2 or 3 rains, especially the one that is not running, the water becomes very dirty. But could you believe someone happens to wash his oranges from such water and put it into a basin to take it to sell to people? Invariable means that the food is already contaminated. That is why we always emphasize that before you can eat anything, you need to wash it again and again, so that even your hands, you wash it again before you touch. That's why if you go to some places, you see some farmers with hand gloves, so that they don't have direct contact with the produce. So we must train the farmer on personal crops or produce. Another one, which is most importantly that we should consider, is what we call post-harvest handling. What is next slide? What is post-harvest handling? Post-harvest handling has to do when you now harvest. After the harvesting, how do you take care of those produce? How do you take care of those crops that you have harvested? Even if it is for family consumption, how do you handle it from the farm to the house? If it is not for family consumption, how then do you handle it from your farm to the market that you are going to sell to the wholesalers, who now pick it from you and then take it to the retailers? Between the producer, the wholesalers, and the retailers, how do you? That is the handling. There is what we refer to as the post-harvest handling. There should be sanitary conditions during storage, transportation, and packaging, which are very crucial to prevent recontamination of clean produce. So depending on how you handle it, the person buying it from you should also be very careful and conscious of the fact that if he or she does not handle it well, is going to contaminate the produce. Let me give you a typical example. You went to the farm and you harvested your cassava. You brought the cassava roots to the house. You peel it. After peeling, you make it to undergo the process of processing it into gari. When it becomes gari from the root that you harvested, if you do not handle it well, it can cause spoilage. If you do not fry it well, it can cause spoilage. Okay, let us use fufu, akpu, depending on the name that you call it in your location, as another example. Depending on the way you handle your fufu, it can contaminate, thereby either not lasting up to 2 days, or when someone consumes it, it causes problems. So in terms of food safety in agriculture, proper care must be given to post-harvest handling. Then, last but not the least, is what we call traceability. How do you being able to trace food back to its source is important in the event of food safety issue, to isolate problem quickly. Oh, a wholesaler is going to buy it from you. He should be able to know, where did you pick it from? Because once he has a knowledge of where you harvested or where you got it from, it will now be able to know the perishability, the contamination that may occur. You see, for instance, let me use a typical example. If you are in the South, you realize that a lot of onions and tomatoes are being produced from the northern part of our country, Nigeria, and then exported to the southern part for consumption. Now, before they do the harvesting in terms of tomato, they will consider the distance, so that because tomato is a perishable good, they will consider the distance that this thing will move, the tomato will move on the road, and the number of days before it gets to the wholesaler, and the wholesaler taking it to the retailers before the final consumers. So the way you handle it, and then you'll be able to trace and know that this thing came from a long distance. It therefore means that this is how they preserve it. I should also preserve it this way. I should wash it again with maybe clean water, so that it will be able to store, or I should not store it again in a natural way. Maybe I should put it into a refrigerator so as to prolong the life shelf. Otherwise, it perishes. So with this, because I will maybe give time so that I can attend to question, and when you ask question, I'll be able to do more explanation. Therefore, I want to bring to your notice that the main goal is to protect consumers' health and ensure that food is safe from farm to the last consumer. That is all what understanding food farm safety in agriculture in a nutshell has to do. Once you are able to know this, I do not really speak about how to produce this food from the farm. The farmer is already there who does the cultivation and all the agronomic practices. And even during the agronomic practices, there are certain conditions, certain situations that we must take into consideration so that at the end, it will produce a good food for us to consume, which is safe, very safe from the agricultural part of it. A typical example is that when you want to kill your chicken, the way you kill the animal and the way you process it determines how good it will be in terms of consumption. So the main goal of question, so in order to do more explanation, is to make sure that you will be able to know how to protect consumers' health and ensure that the food they eat is safe from the farm to the final consumer. Thank you very much. I will listen because I can't rely on the network for questions. If there is, in fact, there should be questions. Because when you ask questions, I will be able to speak more. I will be able to give more explanation. But the summary is that knowing how to make your food produce good for consumption in agriculture, the safety in it. Because when there is no safety, you remember what I told you, the meaning of safety, a condition of being protected from harm. Very important. So farmers should be able to understand those ways in which, supposing you want to export that particular produce, if it does not meet up the standard organization of Nigeria requirements, they won't take it from you. They ask you to take it back, that it is full of contaminants. Even palm oil nowadays, when people want to buy palm oil, they need to check if you have adulterated it with contaminants. Even palm kernel, they will check in a bag. They will ask you to remove it from your bag. They put it in another thing to measure and see in case you have added cells into it so that they can separate it and ask you that those are contaminants. Thank you very much, listeners and dear friends. Let me listen to questions so that I can respond.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Doctor, for that very wonderful session. I'm sure most of us can attest to the fact that the session was power-packed and we've learned a lot. I will just quickly take questions from the following persons: Ibrahim, Musab Ibrahim, Cletus, Abdul Karim, Juliet, and Effiong Ita. Please, other people, just type out your questions. Just type out your questions. And then for those who have been mentioned, please go straight to the question. Just go straight to the question and ask the question as brief as possible. So I'll start with Ibrahim. Ibrahim, please unmute and ask your question.
I'm listening. Ibrahim. No, I do not mute anything. Okay, is it? You think so? I don't think so. I have, because I've seen a text that said it seems the host mute. Queened. Hello?
Hello? I'm with you, sir. Hello? I'm with you, sir. Can you hear me?
I wanted to find out because yes, I can hear you. I have not heard from Ibrahim. Okay, it's like it's about
good evening.
Okay.
Good evening, sir.
Yes.
It has been a privilege listening to you, and I think I have learned a lot with this short time. My question goes just when it comes to dry season, where there's
Yes.
no good water, is it advisable or is it permitted for someone to use the available one in order to prevent the continuity of the planting process? Because there are sometimes that it will get to dry season, you have no option than to use the available water you have. So I don't know. I don't. That's the. I think you understand where I'm trying to go to that side. So is it advisable to use or just leave it to just die that way? That's my question, sir.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Mr. Ibrahim. Now you have just made you made a statement. Available water. Where does this availability of water comes from? It depends on the source. Now, at least since you have gotten this available source in which you have not mentioned, I do not know. But I want to say that depending on the source of this water that you said, you can fetch that same that source of water that the only available source of water, because you can to stay for 2-3 days. Not to talk of the plants, they will die, they will wither away. So what I will advise that you still go and fetch from that available source. Keep it. If you want to apply it tomorrow, fetch it today in a container, clean containers. You realize that before you do the application, the irrigation, the water will settle down. If it had some contaminants, there is that tendency of it coming down. It will settle at the bottom, so that before you now do the application, the irrigation, you filter it out again. At least you can use your eyes to see those ones. Because if I want to advise you now that you can use a neutralizer, just like in a house, if you want to consume drink water, you boil it and keep it. When it is cold, you can now start making use of those ones. So this one, you may not be able to do that depending on the size of your farm. But what I can advise is that fetch those water from the source that you so wish, in which, according to you, the source may not be good. Keep them. It will settle down. When it settles down, filter it out and then apply the other one. By so doing that, you have been able to reduce the percentage of contamination of that water. If it were to be 10, you can successfully reduce it to a minor level of maybe you have about 6, 4, 5%, which may not be injurious to the plants. Ibrahim, have I answered your question? You are not to allow the plant to be starved of water. You must apply. Give them water. But fetch the water they want to minister tomorrow. Fetch it today. Allow it to settle. You will see some contaminant. Filter it. Use the other one. Depending on the quantity, the liters you want to use. Thank you.
All right,
Hello?
thank you. Thank you very much, Doctor. Please, before we go ahead, please note that the attendance link has been dropped and it will be open for just 30 minutes. The attendance link has been dropped and it will be open for just 30 minutes. Please proceed to fill your attendance. We'll take the question by Justice. Justice, are you ready to ask your question?
Okay. Good evening, presenter. Good evening, everybody. I hope you can hear me over there. I want
Yes, I do.
to ask a. Okay. My question goes like this. On the topic, where I reside or I live, in a rural community, we are farmers. There are some of these our farmers that they engage in this early planting of maize. And this early planting of maize, sometimes you discover it will come around, it will be matured for harvesting around August. And within the type of the rainfall system in my locality, we discover that during that August, that is when there is much rain. And availability of sunshine to dry up this harvested. So sometimes crops or the corn will be drive halfway, something like that, and they will begin to package it up. Sometimes they will even start germinating. So, sir, how can they best be advised
Hello?
So that because when they package them up, they will take it to the nearby market and people will buy. Discovering that you discover that it won't be good for hygienic for consumption.
Hello, Justice, can you hear me?
So, and most of our farmers, when you are discussing with them, they will tell you that
Justice is
they
having
really want
some
to
network
go,
issues.
they need money, they need that.
Hello, Justice.
I'm trying to.
And then be advised, educate. If there's any other way, yes.
Yes,
Yes,
just let's do your network.
Hello.
Either at your yes, I can hear you. I can hear you, Justice, now. Though your network at your end seems okay. Though your network seems to be fluctuating, but if I can be able to summarize, yes, can you hear me?
Hello. So,
Justice, can you hear me? Hello. Hello.
I think he has gone off, sir. His network is bad.
But can I respond to his question?
Yes, you can
Though
go ahead.
I could not really. Okay, yeah. Though I do not know if Mr. Justice Cletus is still listening. Though I could not really get the question to the end, but I could be able to deduce what he wanted to ask me. He said is in his own locality that mostly they practice early season cultivation of maize. And this maize will mature around August, whereby they still have a very high percentage of rainfall. And the thing with less sunshine, thereby making the corn in the field not to dry enough for storage. That how then will they be able to do? But the farmers still go ahead to package it and then sell it. And what happened now is that when they package it, you realize that they will germinate before time because the moisture content was still very high. Now, what I can say to you, though I do not know your locality, but under such condition, I want to say a practical situation. Remember, in this very fora, what we are discussing here is down to it. What should be achievable, not the political one, and not the one that you said, I want to write and pass, if it were to be in examination. Now, Justice, what you should do, or what you should advise such farmers to do is that once they harvest it at the time, they could no longer maintain it in the field. They should now create artificial drying system. In my own locality, what my grandmothers did was that they would get to the kitchen where they normally cook and create a rope and tie those corns up, whereby as they are cooking, the smoke that goes out of the fire helps in drying those corns, and as it rises to a certain level, they remove it and then keep changing it so that others may be there. And in fact, they do it in such a way that so that when there is rain, there is no way the rain will enter into their kitchen or where they normally cook. So I will advise that they prefer solution by creating artificial drying method. They can keep it in a house whereby they can, when I say the house, in an environment that there is a shade and they create fire. They make fire using firewood or whichever means they will make. But they must be conscious of the way they do it so that they don't even burn the house. So that they now keep the corns either up so that the smoke that goes out, it's just like those that are already keeping their broilers. You see in the house, when the weather is so cold, especially at the early stage between 1 week, a day old, to 3 weeks during the breeding stage, they will add fire stove on the stove and on it and keep inside where those chicks are, so as to produce heat in order to sustain them. Sometimes where there is electricity, they can have all these 100 watts, depending on the size of the room, the breeding house, so that they will on it to generate heat in order to take care of those animals, the birds. So under this condition, in order for them to maximize and be able to, remember the greatest aim of a farmer is to make profit. So they should divide the means whereby they will harvest it away from the field, dry it where there is a shade, keep it, so that even the air that blows along helps to reduce the moisture content. Because all what we are interested in corn is to reduce the moisture content to a certain percentage that he will now be able to stand the test of time in terms of storage. So that is what they should do. Thank you. Hello?
All right.
Hello?
Thank you so much, sir. Abdul Karim, please, can we just take your question? Please just go straight to the question. Thank you. Okay, Juliet. Okay. Okay.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Mr. Idris.
My question is, some local farmers use a local manure like animal dung, and they apply them to like vegetables such as lettuce and other raw vegetables that can be eaten raw. So, and those fertilizers, local fertilizers, they do have effects to those raw vegetables. So, how can we advise or like approach the farmers to let them know that this local fertilizers has effect to their products? That's my question.
Yes, immediately, Idris, immediately let me answer you. I am not discouraging organic farming because the cow dung is organic manure, which is the safest one to use than inorganic fertilizers. Hello? We have two types of fertilizers, organic and inorganic. Organic are those that are from plant and animal sources, whereas inorganic are chemical substances. Now, I am not saying that they should not use. Rather, what you should advise those farmers that uses cow dung or any of the animal dung or physics or source of manure, before they apply it, let they dry it. The animal dungs, you have maybe up to 20 kg. For instance, what they should do is that let the sun dry it. When you dry it, the pathogens that were present in that dungs during defecation in the field there, during drying, you know that higher percentage, higher heat denatures pathogens. So when they dry it, those pathogens will die. Now, when they now want to apply those cow dungs to their field or piggery dung, what now will happen is that they will apply it in a dry form. When they apply it in a dry form, during irrigation or rainwater, it will splashes, or if it is during dry season, apply water again on it after application. It will help to release the nutrients that is present in that cow dung to the soil, and the plants will now be able to make use of it without actually contaminating the crops. If you apply it the way you pick it from the cattle pen, as wet as it is, you put it there. Go and check it. Do two experiments. Use the dry one and use the one that is wet from the field. Check the one that will do well. The other one will cause a problem to those crops, and you cannot harvest it at that moment to eat. But if it is dry, you see, even the other will not hear it again. Nothing will be, because those pathogens have been killed at higher temperature. So advise them to dry it first. And when you even dry it, it can stay for some time without getting spoiled. Remember, when they spoil, pathogens will constitute a problem, cause disease-causing organisms. Pathogens will be there. Bacterial, viral, everything will be there. So advise them to dry it first and apply it at a dry form. Then add water to it to release the nutrient that is present. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. So we have some questions from our YouTube participants.
Hello, Idris. Have you? Hello? Hello?
Hello, sir. Can you hear me? Hello, doctor. Hello, doctor. Can you hear me, sir?
Queen, I think you should go ahead and read the questions.
Okay. So we have some questions from our YouTube participants, and I'll just go ahead to read them. So one of them says, My question is, how can the final consumer make the chemicals used to preserve beans not harmful? Because it's certain that we farmers use these chemicals. Another person is asking if there is any specific agrochemical that can be used for storing cowpea. Another YouTube participant is asking regarding the issue of weed control. Some grasses are too stubborn that prescribed chemical cannot kill the weed. In such cases, what can the farmer do? We also have a participant asking between trying to present agricultural produce with chemicals that are deadly for man and local approach, which method is safe for safety purpose? So these questions are around the chemicals to be used for storing or preserving food, and then chemicals for weed control.
Yes, let me answer. I can easily get through now. Chemicals for storing produce. Now, there are various chemicals in storing, for instance, cowpea. First to see, you can use it to store cowpea. But now the condition is, let me use a typical example for all of us to know. We all know dog, D-O-G, dog, ngita, ebwa, whatever name they call it, dog. Now there are these improved breeds of dogs that we keep in our various houses, sometimes for security purpose and for this. Those dogs also go to the hospital for checkup and treatment, whereby they give them injection. Such dog cannot be eaten to those who normally eat dog. There are certain injection or treatment when given to animal has a specific expiring date in the body of that animal before you can consume it. It's something with crops. When you apply herbicide today, and the crops were there, and those herbicides were specifically to kill those weeds, you cannot harvest that same crops that same day to eat. The residual effect that I mentioned will be much on those crops, thereby causing harmful effect on human. So you must follow the approved practices. When you apply it, you abstain. It's just like when you are treating yourself of malaria. They will tell you that don't do this until you finish the treatment. You understand? So it is the same thing with crops. The other one said, there's some weeds are so stubborn that a particular herbicide chemical does not kill them. That is why we have, I related myself to what I was asked to do. There's what we call integrated weed management, IWM. Integrated weed management is a process whereby you do not use one method of controlling weeds. Rather, integrated means you use all the methods into one. So that if one does not take care of it on its own, because we have combined 1, 2, 3, 4 together, it will now be able to knock it off, irrespective of how stubborn they are. You then fall back to integrated weed management, whereby you have other means, not using one particular method. And note too, in herbicide, where you want to kill weeds, some weeds, there are some herbicides that are systemic. Some are not non-systemic. I don't really want to go into this English, but what I want to say is that when it has to do with that, you use other methods that has to do with different combining two into it, and then it will be able to knock it off. I don't know if I've answered the question. Because I get only those two. The one that has to do with being stubborn, and the one that has to do with which chemicals should be used in storing food. Once you apply chemicals to food, do not consume that food that same day. It has, on the package, it has duration that you should allow it to be before you consume it. Please follow that instruction. Otherwise, it will be harmful to your health. The other one is a natural way of preservation, better than the artificial way. You know, the natural way of preservation has to do organic, that is organic, but that one will not really, depending on your farm size, will not give the opportunity to really store much. But if you can store it like yam, let us use yam as an example. YAM, yam. We call it Distoria. Any of the Distoria alata, maybe retundata of the family. You see, we have what we call yam bands, where they put sticks and tie those yam up. They don't allow it to touch the ground or touch each other, give gaps. And they stay there. There is a ventilation. That yam will stay longer. And that one, you don't apply any chemical to it. That is natural. So depending on the size of your produce, but anything organically produced is better than synthetic, chemically produced. Because irrespective of how the chemical is, it still has some residual effect, little chemical left, whereas the natural one does not. Thank you. Hello, Queen. Hello?
Thank you very much, Doctor. You've answered most of the questions of the participants. I would just like you to just take one more question from Juliet as we begin to round up. So can we have Juliet just ask her question? Please, if your question is distinct from all the questions that have been asked already, please go ahead to ask your question, Juliet.
Good evening, Doc. I want to appreciate you for your wonderful time. I just want to ask, because some of the questions I wanted to ask, you've answered. As an agricultural extension agent, what are the best practices we can follow to ensure food safety from the farm to the table?
Yes, as I have mentioned, as an extension agent, I have mentioned few tips that even when you are going on your routine checking with your farmers in order to pass information whereby they will not exit. If it is one, let me give one. Then they should also look at avoid pollution from heavy metals and fertilizers. You know, nowadays we can no longer trust our source of raw materials. If they say 2 grams, give 2 grams. Do not give excess. Do not say because they are plants. They are also living things like you. Let them also follow good agricultural practices in which you have taught them on what to do: proper sanitation, clean water use, self-harvesting, and responsibly handling of their produce from the farm to the table, where they will now consume. Let them also be mindful of the water source, the water safety. Let them also, except otherwise it is a one-man business. But if it is up to 2 and above, let them train their workers on personal hygiene. Because they said cleanliness is next to godliness. Most importantly, let them be careful in post-harvest handling, because it is from there that it now gets finally to where the consumers will now make use of it. They should take care of that and then be able to know that what they do is safe. A situation that I do not know, if you have an opportunity of visiting a restaurant when they are preparing food, especially most of these small restaurants, you realize that if you see the way they prepare, processing, you may leave and say you don't want to eat again. But in that same place, if you do not see the way they handle it, you may eat comfortably, because once you have a side of it, you can be able to detect and say, I cannot eat that. When I was a child, the way the bakers did their bread, my dear, it was something that they will now use their legs in order to mix the flour, mash it. Whereas nowadays, there are machines for that. You simply give instruction, one button, and it does the mixing. So what I can tell you finally is that depending on, the message should be passed to our farmers on the way they handle the crops from the field to the final consumers, that will help us to reduce, based on the points that I've listed, contaminants, and thereby increasing food safety on our table. Thank you, Juliet.
Well, thank you very much, Doctor. We're very glad to have this number of questions. It shows that people were actually participating and they were very interested in what you had to say. This is just day one. This is just the first class. And the response so far has been very wonderful. Please, Miss Juliet or Mrs. Juliet, can you take a thank you message? Can you take the thank you message for Dr. Ofonime on behalf of all the participants? Juliet. Juliet, can you take the thank you message on behalf of all the participants for today's session as we come to it?
Yes, sorry, I was trying to unmute myself.
Yes.
Doc, are you with us?
Yes, I do.
I want to appreciate you on behalf of my colleagues. Thank you for your time. And what I will want to say is that I think you also give the organizers your LinkedIn, so that from time to time I do this, so we can reach out to you if we have any questions, any personal questions, you know. We like meeting people like you for career growth. Let me use that word. So I want to appreciate you once again for being with us. Thank you on behalf of the rest of the participants. God bless you.
Bless you. Yes, I want to sincerely appreciate all of you. Though if network to be something very good that we have made on a video, so as for us to see our faces when questions are being asked. In terms of my contact, the organizers will make it available so that I am in the field so that we can be charting the way forward in order to make food available. Not only food available, but a safe food with a very high percentage of safety to our Nigerians to consume. Thank you very much too. Juliet. Hello, thank you. Then Queenette.
Yes, Doctor, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being with us up until this very point in time. All right, so right about now, I'll be inviting Dr. Mr. Black to take us on the announcements and any other information as we round up. Mr. Black, please.
Yes, thank you so much, our moderator, Queenette, and I want to say a very big thank you to Dr. Ofonime Akata. Doctor, it's such a pleasure, and I thank you, and I must say it here to the students, please, you need to understand that Doctor is here on a full 100% volunteer basis. When we reached out to him and told him, Doctor, we have Nigerian farmers that are interested in understanding food safety. He did not hesitate. He said, Black, I am with you all the way. And he accepted to come carry out the introductory session of today. So please, yes, in the WhatsApp group, we are going to drop information, the contact details about Doctor. You can follow him on social media. And of course, like he said, he's in the field and he's ever ready. And of course, he's also a consultant. So if you have a big farm project, you can reach out to him to give you consultation on what he does. But above all, he is the acting head of department for Department of Crop Science in the Akwa Ibom State University. So he is an academia, and so he's both in the field and in the academic. So you did not just listen to anybody that I just said I'm practicing agriculture. He is a full-time farmer. And Doctor, today you've spoken to over 240 students that have listened to the introductory session. And I want to tell all the students, today is just class 1 out of 16, and today was understanding farm food safety. And we have all started to understand from what Doctor has talked about different contaminants, the concept of the farm, the concept of food, the concept of safety, and all of that. I assure you that in the subsequent classes, we are going to go deeper. You're going to know the different arms of government that is responsible for regulating safety in the farm. You're going to know the different practices in terms of, someone asked about pest management. We are going to have a class about integrated pest management and all of that. So please ensure you come to class on time and ensure you are part of the session. The next class is going to be on Saturday. Remember, in our onboarding yesterday, we had announced that classes are always on Tuesdays and Saturdays by 4 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. That's why we are trying to ensure that we meet up with the timing. So the next class is on Saturday, and the topic will be announced. We are having, let me just say this, that our next facilitator is a trainer from Soilless Farm Lab. I don't know how many of you know Samson Ogbole. Samson Ogbole is very much a strong partner with this project. He's the one that is handling EIYA, forgotten the full meaning. So Samson Ogbole has sent two of his trainers to be part of the facilitators for this meeting. So the next class on Saturday is going to be handled by one of his trainers. I do not have the names here, but one of the trainers from Soilless Farm Lab is going to be handling the next session. So I want to assure you here that you are in for very quality knowledge. You are in here for quality networking. And like we said, this is a 100% free training. You are not paying for this class. You are attending the class. Take your notes. Or the facilitators slides, we are going to drop it in the WhatsApp group free of charge. Nobody's being charged to get the facilitators notes to attend the class. Now, then I know some people are still talking about their codes. Please, when we drop information, yesterday I took my time after the onboarding, we took our time and we reposted all the information in the WhatsApp group, but it is evident and some people did not read it. Most people did not read it. Please, yes, Enterprise for Youth in Agriculture. Yes, someone just reminded me what the project that Samson Ogbole is handling. And he would have come himself. It's just that the timing that we gave him did not favor. But like I said, he is fully aware and fully part of this. So, yes, please be reading the information in the WhatsApp group. That is the only legit source of information that you will have. Now, for your codes, it is evident that some people still did not fill in their code. They did not fill the master sheet. It is the master sheet that we will get your name and we will assign you a code. That is the code that we use to verify that you were a student in this class. That is the code you fill in your attendance sheet. I will plead with the community manager to open. I will plead with the community manager to open the master sheet again. If you did not fill it, please fill it. But I also want to tell you, so many people are saying, I did not see my name, I did not see my name. After they've stressed us to go back and be checking, they will now say, oh, I've seen my name. Please, you know who I was off. Please take your time, calmly, gently. Okay, take your time, calmly, gently look through and be sure that you've not seen your name before you come back to complain. We are going to open the WhatsApp group. The WhatsApp group is going to be open from this evening. Now that the class is, the next time the WhatsApp group will be closed again will be on Saturday. Please apply decorum. Do not advertise anything that is non-agri. You are allowed to advertise agricultural products. This is a networking platform. We promised you networking. So maybe you have a training, you have a whatever you have, you are allowed to advertise that. But anything religious, politics, or non-agriculture, you are not allowed to advertise. Do not insult anybody. Please keep it very civil in the WhatsApp group. And so, yes, finally, I'll also announce again, training is free. But if after this training, you are interested in getting the certificate, there is a fee attached to the certificate. Once you pay that fee, and right now the certificate fee is reduced to as low as 5,000 naira if you pay within this training period. So you join the train, this training period ends on the 27th of June, and then you are able to make that payment. You get this training certificate that, like I told you, is accredited. There will be a verification code. Your assigned code will be on it, and then there will be a barcode for anybody that you're tendering that certificate to verify it. And we like mentioned that these certificates can be used and be tendered to get contracts, can be tendered to get jobs, can be tendered for whatever positive benefit you want to get from it. So thank you all. Those on the YouTube, we see you. We will be taking your questions. You can join on YouTube. You can join on Zoom. Meeting links will be dropped 5 minutes to class time so that it gives us enough time to set up the class and prepare. So I'll be handing over back to the facilitator. We are going to take a group picture where everybody will on their video for briefly. Just please put on your video and we're going to take a brief picture. So I'll hand over to, I don't know if there's any question. How can we get the hard copy certificate? So yes, thank you for that question. For those that want the certificate, when you pay, the 5,000 naira you're paying between now and 27th of June is for e-certificates. If you want hard copy certificates, we will discuss that, and you will pay for courier. Once the certificate is ready and printed, you will pay for courier. So that is special arrangement. We'll pay for courier and you can get that. But of course, because of the barcode there, you are allowed to print your certificates. The barcode is what certifies you. So you can print, if you get it in your email, your e-copy, you can actually print your certificate where you are. Okay, people are already opening their videos. Please, okay. Yes. Okay. All right. So yes. Second moderator, please take a snapshot of all the participants while they are watching their video. So thank you so much. Like I said, we will open the WhatsApp group. Further questions can be asked of there. Please look out for two things. The master sheet list will be dropped again. The certificate request link will be dropped again. Those two links are the important links that you can follow up for now. And then, yes, other information will come up in the WhatsApp group. Thank you so much, all of you that came early. And see you in the WhatsApp group and see you on Saturday in the next class. Yes.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Really appreciate.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, you can unmute yourself and say one or two things. As you've seen, I'm sure this time we have been from the first onboarding till now. It is a whole lot better, right?
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. We really appreciate, sir.
Thank you. God bless you.
Class.
This opportunity.
I enjoyed the class. Mr. Black. Thank you, Mr. Black. What a privilege.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, but no message was taken from the Zoom. The questions were not answered from the Zoom comment session.
Please turn on your camera.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Pleasure being here.
So much